Welcome to another video of the Metal Evangelist. My mission is to spread the word of true metal by preaching from the gospels of heavy, black, death, thrash, and doom. This video is going to be my top 30 of 2015, and I know it's a bit late, it's already February, but there's a lot that goes on here, and the difference between this year and last year is that I own copies of physical copies of everything on my top 30 this year, so I wanted to make a video to show them off. So we'll get right into it. I've got my notes here, probably gonna mess up, whatever. We're gonna do this in one shot, get it over with. Alright, the first one, and again, these aren't in any particular order. I don't go about ranking them. I just pick my favorite top 30, and it's not a best of list because I don't have time to listen to everything and, you know, rank everything and find, oh, this is the best one and this should have been here because of this and that. It's like, though, these are the ones I liked. End of story. So to start off the list is Horrendous with Anarata. These guys are on Dark Descent Records. They're from Philadelphia. Featured Damian Herring, who owns Subterranean Watchtower Studios, who does a lot of mixing and mastering for plenty of death metal bands that you've probably heard of. And they play kind of a progressive, melodic death metal. You just don't really know what you're going to expect with Horrendous. This is their third album, probably their best. I remember when I first heard it, and I knew right away that it was going to be Decibel's #1 because it was better than Ecdysis, and Ecdysis was really good. So just to show you this CD real quick, here's the inside with the guys in it, trying to eliminate the glare. There's the disc itself, like that old school shininess, and then the back has some cool cover art, which I would have liked to see on the front, but they made t-shirts out of this. You can get those. So that's Horrendous with Anarata. Next we have a local band from here in the Twin Cities. These guys are from Minneapolis. This is Wicked Inquisition. Their self-titled debut came out on Tridroid Records this year. And these guys play kind of traditional doom metal, like Trouble, St. Vitus, Bang, that kind of thing. The unfortunate thing about this band is they're breaking up later this year. They announced that their last show will be at like a Maryland Doom Fest or something along those lines. But these guys are really good. They're simple songs, simple riffs, nothing too groundbreaking, but they do it really well, and it's produced really well. So, Wicked Inquisition. Next we've got, Sadistic Ritual. What's this one called? Edge of the Knife. Yeah. This one came out on Unspeakable Acts Records, and this is kind of like your evil, snarling, running off the rails type of thrash metal. It's considered an EP, but there's 6 songs and it's about 23 minutes long, so it'll keep your interest and it'll hold it because this is just some really good stuff. There's the guys in the band there inside of the CD. Also a nice shiny disc. Sadistic Ritual, some really good stuff. Let's hit up some vinyl. How about next is Immortal Bird. This is a band from Chicago. This is their their first release was an EP. This is Empress Abscess, their first true full length. And they released it themselves as a CD. This is the vinyl version out on Broken Limbs Recordings. It's kind of hard to categorize this band. They play, I would say, like an extreme, progressive, blackened, doomy death. It's just, there's all kinds of influences going on. They're really worth your time to check out. Here's the insert sheet. You can see the, whoops, I'll show you the band members there. You can see them, that's blocking the camera. Anyway, and then I'll show you the vinyl itself. It's this very cool marbled vinyl. So, Immortal Bird, I got to see them live this year finally, and they did not disappoint. Next, we've got another band that's local to the Upper Midwest. This is Frosthelm. This is a black metal band from Minot, North Dakota. They just, I don't know, they're really good. This is their debut full length. It's out on, yeah, it's pretty much self-released. Black Work, Clement Brothers. Yeah, I'd call this one self-released. What else do we have to say about them? They can really, you know, crank up the speed and play more like black and thrash, and they can also slow it down, be more mid-tempo, sound like Emperor almost. But they got some, I mean, there's just some really cool artwork on this one. And I love the white jewel case tray. And I don't want to, there's some stuff inside here. Mine came with it's got to be a bass pick because it's very thick. And a patch. This was a while ago that this came out, so I don't remember if this is included or I ordered these extra or they just sent them along. But Frosthelm, awesome, evil black metal, if you're into that. Okay, close that one up. If I can. There. Next, how about one we all probably know, Nile. What Should Not Be Unearthed. Nuclear Blast. This one was quite the return to form for Nile. Their last album was good. It was a little bit over the top in the technicality, and this one does a really good job of walking the line between frantic technical riffs and then just slowing it down into an awesome groove that makes you want to headbang. This one comes in a slipcase that, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of stamped. And then you've got your regular jewel case version. There's not a whole lot super awesome going on here. Lots of text, lots of lyrics in this one. Songs on the back, but quite a good return to form for Nile. I was pretty much blown away when I heard this one this summer. Next, let's go with Obscure Infinity. This is some death metal from Germany. Let's see where it is on my list. Perpetual Descending into Nothingness. Some awesome cover artwork there from Juanjo Castaneda. I hope I'm saying his name right. And this is old school death metal, but it doesn't sound like a copycat of any other band. Kind of have their own sound going on, sort of like Abysmal Dawn or Calm Hatchery, bands like that. They blur the line between old school and new school. And this one came out on FDA Records out of Germany as well. Alright, how about another vinyl? Here's some more local metal to the Twin Cities. This is False. Their debut record is Untitled. Does not have a title, it's just False. It's the front, here's the back. They play kind of like a savage style of black metal. Not really my number one genre, so it's hard for me to describe them sometimes, but if you're into black metal, the second wave, I think you'll like this. It's a gatefold, it's a double LP. Pick out one of the, oh, what's it come with here? Looks like there's a poster, yep. Oh yeah, we actually got lyrics in here. Didn't realize that. Haven't opened this one in a while. Some more artwork on this little poster. And then I believe this is a colored vinyl. Yep, there we go. Red. Oh yeah, it's maroon with some black splatter in there. And this one was released by Gilead Media. So they were also in the Decibel's top 30 this year, so worth your time. Here's another band from Unspeakable Acts Records. This is Encircle, self-titled debut album. This one got some love from Fenriz on his blog. And these guys are from, where are they from? Denmark. They're self-described as nocturnal speed metal, which is pretty accurate. They've got, you know, Iron Maiden style melodies, twin guitar leads, trade-off solos. The vocalist sings, and sometimes you'll throw in some falsettos, so this one's pretty good. I think I have the vinyl on pre-order for this too. It's got the moon on the disc. Pretty awesome. Their singer actually left this year, but the band recruited a new singer and are carrying on, so hopefully in late 2016 or 17 we'll hear some new stuff from Encircle. Next up, some savage thrash metal from Distillator. Got some Andrei Buzikov cover art going on here. These guys are from the Netherlands. It's called Revolutionary Cells. You can probably see that right there. They're basically an early 80s style thrash attack. It's 3 guys. You can tell they love Slayer, they love Destruction. Just, this is heavy and bludgeoning throughout the entire disc. So, this one I have not found in any American distros. I had to order it from the band directly, which is never a bad thing, but it's a little expensive importing CDs. It was maybe like $20 with all the shipping, but it's worth your time if you love thrash metal. So, Distillator with Revolutionary Cells made my list. Let's do another vinyl. How about Crypt Sermon? This one I was really excited about. Their demo was awesome. This is Out of the Garden, debut full length. Another band from Philadelphia. There's the back. You can see the guys. Cool picture of them. This one came out on Dark Descent Records, and this is basically epic doom metal. They wanted to sound like Candlemass and Solitude Aeternus, and they really pretty much nailed it. Got some awesome artwork. That was probably the cat upstairs, don't worry about that. Well, maybe not. There's the cat now. Could that be the dog? I don't hear crying, so it must not be the kids. Just look at the artwork and don't pay attention to the funky sounds. This one is a gold vinyl. It's kind of hard to see in this light, but that's the back. Might as well show the front since we're here. This is an awesome album. I was very excited for this one to come out this year and was not disappointed by what happened when I heard it. Alright, moving on. Vastum. Oh, drop my paper in the ruckus. This is Hole Below. They're from San Francisco. This is an old school styled death metal band, but they got some proggy influences going on. They kind of remind me of Incantation, where they have that giant wall of sound that just, and the vocals that are like, you know, basically in a well from hell, kind of like the title Hole Below. And you can see the artwork with the glare. This came out on $20 Spin Records. There's the back. Really good album. Inside the CD and the disc itself. Oh, here's another old school death metal gem. This is Torturama. Probably not the best name, but this one is called, oh, where'd it go? Close Encounters of the Morbid Kind. And these guys are from Germany. Nope, I'm sorry. They're from Belgium. And they worship the Boss HM2 pedal. You can see one right there. The Rancor Monster has one. Yeah, I mean, this is just old school Swedish buzzsaw guitar tone perfection. Really well played riffs, awesome vocals. This is another one that I haven't really found in any American distros, and I had to import from the band themselves. And this one came out on God Eater Records, Torturama. Awesome shit. Alright, how about, let's see, another vinyl. This one I just picked up recently because I happened to find it in the record store. Morgoth, Ungod. Now, this is one of these comeback albums from a band that was good in the early 90s, and then they turned into something you wouldn't want to hear normally. Went away and came back, made this comeback album, and usually I'm not super keen on that, but once I finally listened to it, I was like, damn, this is good. These guys sounded like late 80s Chuck Schuldiner death, and they kind of still have that vibe going on, but they take it a little step further and make it their own. Here's the insert. Oh my god, there's the dudes. This came out on Century Meter Records. I think it's just a black vinyl, so I won't pull it out. But what else do I need to say about them? Yeah, that's all. More goth. Ungod. Great comeback album. Alright, here's another band that is, I don't know, not unsigned anymore. They're on Non-Servium Records. I think Infidel Amsterdam did a video with these guys, Against the Plagues. I've been following them since about 2007 when their first CD came out. This is their third. And the only constant member is the drummer. He's recruited new members, but the level of quality is always really high. They're on Non-Servium Records now, by the way. And they just play, I don't know, like a brutal but melodic kind of death metal with some black metal influences. You might hear some keyboards once in a while just for effect, nothing crazy. What else do we need to say about them? They're based in Chicago. They kind of grew out of the ashes of Forest of Impaled when that band broke up. But yeah, Purified Through Devastation is the name, and Non-Servium Records. Great stuff here. This is one of those ones that I listen to it, I'm like, yeah, that's good, I don't know how good it is, and then a few days later the songs creep into your head and you're like, oh, I need to go listen to that again, and it catches on. It's good stuff. Here's another Unspeakable Acts band. This is Unrest, Grindcore, and you know what you're gonna get. This is the one where Decibel Magazine rated it a 9 and their whole review was, yes, this is Grindcore. And they don't put the song titles on the back. They have this cool photo. There's a t-shirt made of this. I actually have that t-shirt. And if you look inside, here's the guys. Steve Jansen, Brooks Wilson. I hadn't mentioned them before, but they're the same guys that are in Crypt Sermon. And then the drummer's down there too. And then the disc has the song titles on it. The thing I like about this is the riffs are just so catchy. You know, it's like, why didn't I think of that riff? That was simple but really catchy, and they've got the dual vocal trade-off, kind of like Old Carcass has. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. They wanted to make a side project, or a project that was grindcore that sounded like NASA. And you know that they did it right when the old members of NASM heard their stuff and posted on their Facebook and said, hey, you did a good job. So, yeah. Or Nawsome. Is it Nawsome? Maybe it's Nawsome. You know what band I'm talking about. So, yeah. Unspeakable Acts Records, Grindcore by Unrest. Great stuff. Let's see. Next we're going to do Sacral Rage. This is, let's see, Illusions of Infinite Void. And these guys are from Athens, Greece. They play a progressive speed metal, I'd call it. This one came out on Cruz del Sur Music. They kind of remind me of bands like Target, Scanner, maybe King Diamond. There's some high-pitched vocals in there. It's that kind of style. But Sacral Rage, really good. This is one of those that I'm like, who is that? I don't even know how I found this band, but when I heard it, I was like, damn, this is good. I gotta check this out. So they kind of got the proggy space theme going on in the artwork. Yeah, Sacral Rage, good stuff. Next, we're going with one of my favorites, Steel Bearing Hand. This is their self-titled album, I guess. They had a demo before this. This one's like EP length, but there's some long songs, so it feels like a full length. And I'm calling it a full length. This one came out on Unholy Anarchy Records. I forgot to look it up before I hit record if this one's still available, because it's only limited to 300 copies. But damn if it isn't worth your time. Let's see, here's a little lyric sheet on the inside. Some more artwork. You got band photo there. Lyrics. And this one, I believe, is just a black vinyl. Yeah, just black. But to tell you a little bit more about them, let's see. Where were they on my list here? Steel Bearing Hand. Let's put it up, and you can look at it while I find. Oh yeah, they're from Dallas, Texas. They play like Venom worshiping thrash, but you also will hear some some black metal passages, some blast beats here and there. They've got catchy riffs, almost like Speedwolf. You know, throw some Speedwolf in there, some Toxic Holocaust maybe, some Emperor, some Motorhead, mix it all together in a blender, you got Steel Bearing Hand. This one's worth your time. And again, go to Unholy Anarchy Records distro and look up if it's still available. It's totally worth your time if it is. Alright, another CD. This is Reign of Fury. This one's called, Death Be Thy Shepherd. This one came out very early in 2015. This band is from the UK. They play late 80s Bay Area thrash, more along the, excuse me for a second, more along the lines of, say, Metallica's And Justice for All, where they have some good, like, vocals. There's no screaming. Well, I think there's some growling from the backup vocalist, but the lead vocalist kind of sings in a James Hetfield kind of way. They got the galloping riffs, the long songs that have like the melodic bridges in the middle. This one's pretty much self-released. It says Mosh Tonnage on the back. The band put this one out themselves. The CD itself is kind of cool. Oh yeah, that's right. It's signed by the members. Here's a pro tip for you collectors out there. If you're ordering stuff from the band directly, just put a little note in there saying, hey, can you sign my CD? They'll usually do it. And I ask them to sign on the inside so it doesn't screw up the cover art. There's the disc. It's looking down into the cauldron on the cover. So, Reign of Fury, some awesome Bay Area styled thrash metal. Next up is another hometown band here from Minneapolis. This is Beastface with their debut full-length Return of Beastface. And this is kind of a progressive metal, sort of, I described it as the quirkiness of Clutch meets the heaviness of Strapping Young Lad mixed with the violence of I Hate God. And you get this sludgy, progressive, just beast of an album. Sorry about the pun right there. I was gonna say massive, but whatever. This one came out on Zero Budget Records, which is a local label here in the Twin Cities. And yeah, I actually went to a show, and Zero Budget was part of this benefit show for a radio station. And I went up to the guy, I'm like, hey, I'm the Metal Evangelist, I got a radio show. He's like, oh, here, you need this CD and this CD and this CD. And he just gave me all this. I'm like, well, here's the $20 I planned on spending anyway. You can have that. And then I went through them, and this one just kind of blew me away. Like, yeah, this is really good. So, Beastface, check them out for sure if you like sludgy, progressive, Clutch, I Hate God, that kind of stuff. Alright, let's see. Oh, here's one that just about everyone knows, but it is really that good. Mugla, Exercises in Futility. Black metal from Poland. And I listened to this once and I was like, yes, I need to get this. This is damn good. So how to describe it? I would say it's more of a progressive black metal where it's kind of like rock beats and rock riffs. I don't know if you call that shoegaze or whatever, or post-black metal, but then it's blended in with blast beats, and the vocals are really good on this one too. You don't have any of those I'm trying to sing parts, or there's nothing like modern about it. I'd say it's just damn good. What else to say about it? It came out on Northern Heritage Records. They put the lyrics on the back, kind of an old school style. And then yeah, there's not much in here, just the vinyl, and it's black. So kind of stripped down, old school, but it's good stuff. All right, next up is Undead. This is False Prophecies. This is one of those bands where you don't know who the members are. They're trying to be anonymous, and it doesn't really work as well when you don't have all the costumes and world tours and crazy stage presence and blasphemy. But you know, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. And I just looked them up last week, and I guess earlier in 2016 they changed their name to Undead Prophecy instead of just Undead. Again, this one comes in a slipcase. This came out on Listenable Records. This is kind of late 80s style death metal, going along the lines of Gruesome and, you know, leprosy era death. And it's just, I don't know, it's good. When I first heard it online, I was like, this is awesome, and I need to get it, and I eventually did. So you don't know who the members are, they're all anonymous. Don't know where they're from exactly. I'm guessing somewhere in Sweden, but who knows. Undead, False Prophecies, good stuff. All right, we're getting down towards the end. How about another vinyl? This is Zabalba. These guys are from Southern California. Their title of this album is Teoría y Libertad. They're all of Latino dudes. I'm guessing they're Mexicans. Nothing wrong with being Mexican. My best friend is Mexican. Anyway, they play. Where is it? There's a lot on this list. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I kind of describe this as Machine Head meets Dismember, or Entombed. If Entombed from '94 and Machine Head from '94 got together just to have a jam session, you'd get this. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Crust punk, I guess. It's got the HM2 guitar, but then it's got the hardcore, like, beatdown sounding vocals and the bludgeoning riffs. Sometimes it gets into some doomy territory with slowed down riffs, but the thing that drew me to this, obviously, is the cover art done by Dan Seagrave. And you've got Mayan temples and aliens fighting each other, maybe fighting humans, it's hard to tell. But that's what drew me to this. It came out on Southern Lord earlier this year. There's not much else to see. There's the back with the songs. This one's just, let's see. Oh yeah, there's guys in here. I've got photos of dudes. There they are. There's my Latin brothers playing some badass metal. Got lyrics on the back. From Southern California, and this came out on Southern Lord Records, Zabalba. Okay, next up we've got some more thrash metal. This is Harlot with Proliferation, released maybe this summer on Metal Blade Records. This is Harlot's second album. They're from Australia. Their first album was self-released, and actually the second one was self-released for about 2 months before Metal Blade finally picked them up and put it out here. Again, we've got some Andrei Buzikov cover art. Gotta love that. This is basically Bay Area thrash worship, like Exodus Jr., and that's not a bad thing. The vocals aren't exactly like Steve Souza or anything. They're very good. They got a nice snarl to them. The guitar tone is perfect for that style of metal. And yeah, really good guitar leads, just punishing intricate riffs. Here's the guys in Harlot. I think they've been touring Europe this past year. This one is really good. Worth your time. Proliferation from Harlot. Okay, getting down towards the end. Okay, this next one, this is one of those bands where you find it and you're like, holy crap, I didn't think anything could sound like that. This is Stone Healer with He Who Rides Immolated Horses. And this is basically a solo project by a guy named, oh, I can't remember his name now. Shoot, well, it's on the inside, let me just read it. Dave Kaminsky. Sorry, Dave, for not remembering your name. So all the instruments are done by Dave Kaminsky, except for the drums, done by his brother Matt. And this is like a progressive, sludgy black metal. And I heard it online. It came out on a local label called Tridroid Records, who just shut down yesterday. That's another story. But I heard it and I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. This is like Mastodon crossed with Gorguts. Like, this is heavy as shit. And it's an EP length, it's 4 songs, but it's 30 minutes long, so I'd consider it a full length. And it's killer. What else do I need to say about it? Tri-Droid Records. I mean, you can. This is limited to probably 200 copies, and you can go buy one right now for $11, I bet, or less. So, if you like those kind of bands that I described, you like really heavy, progressive black metal, check out Stone Healer. Good stuff. All right, we got about 5 left. Let's do another local one. How about Obsequiae? And that's how I pronounce it. I don't know how it's supposed to be done, but that's what I see when I read it. This one is called Aria of Vernal Tombs. Came out on 20 Bucks Spin earlier this year. It's their second album, and it is just an epic melodic black metal masterpiece. It's let's see, came out at, did I said 20 Bucks Spin? I think I did. It's kind of like a one-man project that has blossomed into a full band. They've been playing some select shows here in the Twin Cities recently. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to attend any of them, but hopefully at some point I can. Here's the lyric sheet. There's the back of it. Got some nice artwork there. And then yeah, here's Tanner Anderson is the main guy behind this band. He's in the middle there. And you'll see the other players, and they've recruited some more live musicians, and they, from what I hear, they put on an excellent show. So hopefully I'll be able to catch Obsequiae soon here in the Twin Cities. And I don't know why I didn't see this one on more lists, especially if you like Mugla and those kind of bands. This type of black metal is just, it's up your alley. So atmospheric kind of, like I said, I'm not good at describing black metal, but this is awesome. Anyway, on to the next one you probably know, Melekesh from Israel. They don't live there anymore, I think they're in the Netherlands, but this is their new album called Enkai. Came out on Nuclear Blast Records, and this is some thrashy black metal. It's got like 80s style guitar riffs, and then just the snarling black metal vocals, and the drumming is fast and heavy. What else to say about them? Yeah, it's just catchy. And then you've got the Middle Eastern influences on top of all of it, kind of along the lines of Nile. If you're into that, you'll like this one. And oh man, the back, not much on the back. CD's pretty cool looking. And then there's this scary looking picture of the guy in the band. Their face is covered. Melekesh. I've been kind of a casual fan of these guys for a while, but I heard this one and I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's what I expect to hear from a band like this, and they deliver. Let's do this one next. We've got 3 more. This is Eternal Solstice. This is one of those bands that plays death metal from the mid-90s and then went away and came back and put out a comeback album that's, I'd say, better than those albums. Remnants of Immortality is the name of this one. They're from the Netherlands. Again, they play death metal, but they don't sound like old school, or they don't sound like Incantation or Disma. They've got their own kind of sound. They've got a lot of influences that you hear diversity from track to track. So yeah, they're not doing any of the stale trappings that made the explosion of death metal kind of stagnate. They got their own sound going on. This came out on Dark Descent Records pretty early in 2015 as well. Yeah, here's the guys. You can see them there. And the disc. Well worth your time. Second to last album here. Should come as no surprise. It's Sulphur Eon, Gateway to the Antisphere. And this is the slipcover front. Here's the slipcover back. This is, as you all probably know, just epic death metal with Cthulhu Rising right here. And if you open it up, it's a gatefold. You can see how big that gets. And then there's this badass evil picture. Oh, sorry guys. Backwards. Of the dudes. got the logo with some inverted crosses, some credits, and I think this is a double album. It's huge. I think it's just black vinyls. Yep, I just got the black ones. So Sulfur Eon. Oh, there's a poster in here too. I'm not going to unfurl that because we're almost done. But yeah, this, I think I like the first album best, but this is still really good. I need to put it on some more and really digest it. But Sulfur Eon, obviously great. And then the last one I wanted to get to, probably shouldn't have saved it for last, but if you made it this far, thanks. This is Insanity, Visions of Apocalypse, released late in 2015 on Unspeakable Acts Records. And there's quite a story behind this, and I'm probably not going to be able to retell it all, but basically Insanity was around in the early to mid 80s playing death metal. They were one of the first bands to have a blast beat. Napalm Death has said on record that they were influenced by their demo tape, and this is one of those bands that didn't really catch on with a label until later in the game. I think their debut album called Death After Death was recorded in 1991, but didn't come out until 1994, and then nobody noticed it because death metal had died at that point, according to the media. So, the main, let me find his name. The main character in all this, oh shoot, I should have done my metal homework, and I didn't. Where is he? Dave Gorsh. This is him. He kept the flame alive, never really disbanded the band, kind of kept it going in the underground, and this is actually their second full-length album. And during the writing and recording of this, you know, they had many lineup changes. They had their drummer tragically died, had to recruit new members, and finally, after 10 years of reforming in about 2005, this has seen the light of day, and the best part is that it's freaking awesome. It's just some killer old school death metal with the old school kind of production. It's hard to describe because I haven't only listened to it but 3 or 4 times, but Insanity, this is a hell of a comeback album, and they deserve a listen from those of us in the death metal community. So that's kind of why I saved it for last. I hope you made it this far. And this was the Metal Evangelist Top 30 Albums of 2015. Thanks for watching, and keep it metal.